You didn't lose your focus. It was taken from you. What if I told you you're not lazy? What if the world around you was designed to keep you distracted, so you never reach your potential? Think about it. Not every app on your phone is harmful, but many of them share one goal: not to help you, not to make you smarter, not to make your life better, but to keep your eyes on the screen for as long as possible. And they're very good at their job, because your attention is money. You think you're choosing what you watch, but the truth is, the algorithm learned you better than you learned yourself. The problem isn't your discipline. The problem is that we are now living in a world where distraction is the default state, and focus has become a luxury. How many times have you opened your phone just to check one message, and suddenly 40 minutes disappears? You didn't plan it, you didn't agree to it, but it happened anyway, because distraction doesn't require permission. And yet every night you blame yourself. Why can't I focus? Why am I so unproductive? Why does everyone else seem more disciplined than me? You are not the problem. The environment was engineered to make your mind restless. And here's the truth nobody tells you. Once you know the system, you can break free from it. You can rebuild your focus. You can choose where your attention goes, because your attention is your life. And the moment you take it back, everything changes.
You think you have control, right? You think you decide when to stop scrolling. That's cute.
That's cute.
Here's the truth. You're not scrolling. You're being scrolled. Social media isn't an accident. It's an engineered dopamine trap. Former Facebook executives admitted, we designed it to be addictive. They literally hired behavioral psychologists, not to make you smarter, but to keep you trapped. They don't want your money. They want your attention, because attention prints money. But sure, tell yourself just one more scroll. That's the same script casinos have used for decades. You know why scrolling feels so good? Because it's a dopamine slot machine. Swipe. Maybe it's funny. Swipe. Maybe it's dramatic. Swipe. Maybe it hits your trauma. Your brain goes, ooh, surprise, unpredictable reward, give me more. And suddenly, 1 minute becomes 1 hour. You think you have no discipline, right? You think you decide when to stop scrolling. No, you're fighting a billion-dollar algorithm designed to destroy your focus. You're not lazy. You're outnumbered. Every time you pause on a video, the system goes, you like sad quotes at 2 a.m.? Don't worry, we got more. Every hesitation, every swipe, every stare recorded. Yes, even when you rewatch the same video 3 times, like you're studying it for a PhD you didn't sign up for. They know what makes you laugh, what makes you insecure, what keeps you up at night. Not because they care, but because they can sell that information. If you're not paying for the product, you are the product. Your focus was stolen. They design distraction. They profit from addiction. They study your weakness, and you blame yourself for not being productive. You ever open your phone to check the time, then suddenly you're watching a raccoon stealing cat food and somehow it's 3 a.m.? Yeah, that wasn't an accident. You opened the phone opened you. But now you see the game. And once you see the game, you can choose to stop playing, because awareness is the first weapon. You are not losing because you're weak. You were losing because you were unarmed.
Stay. The algorithm has controlled your attention long enough. Now it's your turn. You don't struggle because you're lazy. You struggle because your brain has been hijacked. Every time you scroll, swipe, or refresh, your brain releases a tiny dopamine hit. Not enough to make you happy, just enough to keep you coming back. Modern apps are designed like slot machines. You pull the lever and maybe something exciting appears. Maybe someone liked your post. Maybe a new message shows up. Maybe nothing. And your brain says, let's try again, just one more time. Just one more time, just one more scroll, just one more minute. Hours disappear, and you call it relaxing. You're not relaxing. You're being drained. Your brain was designed to reward effort, finishing a task, learning something new, taking action. But now, your brain gets dopamine for doing absolutely nothing. You don't even chase goals anymore. You chase notifications. And the funniest part? Notifications are usually things you don't even care about. Half of your screen time is just opening apps to see absolutely nothing. You close it, then open it again 10 seconds later, as if something magical appeared during those 10 seconds. Your brain is not the problem. Your environment is. You're not addicted to your phone. You're addicted to how your phone manipulates your brain chemistry. And here's something uncomfortable. If something is always giving dopamine instantly, you lose the ability to enjoy things that require patience. Reading, working, thinking. Real progress becomes boring. Real growth feels too slow. Real life loses the ability to compete. You think you need motivation. No. You need to lower dopamine noise so your brain can remember what focus feels like. If you keep feeding your brain easy dopamine, you will never crave meaningful dopamine. So here's the step that changes everything. Replace dopamine consumption with dopamine creation. You don't get dopamine from scrolling. You get dopamine from doing. Small wins, tiny actions, micro decisions. You don't need to do more. You need to stop doing what steals your focus.
To fix a noisy mind, we don't start with discipline. We start with silence. Most people try to build discipline while drowning in distractions. That's like trying to meditate inside a nightclub while the DJ screams into the microphone, "Are you ready?" Spoiler, your brain is not ready. Here's the truth nobody likes to admit. You don't struggle with discipline. You struggle with overstimulation. You don't procrastinate because you're lazy. You procrastinate because something easier is one tap away. Why write when scrolling gives dopamine instantly? Your brain isn't choosing what matters. It's choosing what's easiest. Imagine two buttons. Button A, scroll dopamine buffet, 0 effort. Button B, do something meaningful, effort required. 90% of brains choose A, not because we're weak, but because our environment is rigged. Discipline is hard when temptation is always within reach. So instead of forcing discipline, remove temptation. Because discipline is not a character trait, it's a design strategy. Discipline doesn't start with willpower. Discipline starts with environment. If your phone is next to you, you will check it. Don't fight that truth. Use it. Make distractions harder to reach. Put your phone in another room. Log out of social media. Turn your screen to grayscale. Remove apps from the home screen. Make progress easy. Open your workspace before you sleep. Keep your tools visible. Reduce steps between intention and action. The less friction you have to start, the easier discipline becomes. Most people think discipline is about pushing harder. Turns out it's about removing what pulls you away. When distractions disappear, focus appears. Not because you became stronger, but because the noise got quieter. But sure, go ahead and tell yourself, tomorrow I'll be disciplined, while sleeping with your phone 3 centimeters from your face. Good luck with that.
Good luck.
Stop trying to force discipline. Design it. Change your environment, and your behavior will follow without a fight. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your environment. First, we silence the noise. Now it's time to rebuild something far more powerful, your identity.
Because focus gives you clarity, but identity gives you direction.
You don't change your life by setting bigger goals. You change your life by changing your identity. Most people try to fix their life like this. I want to be more disciplined. I want to be less addicted to my phone. I want to be productive. But wanting something is not the same as becoming someone. Because here's a truth we never admit. Your actions are not the problem. Your identity is. If deep inside you believe, I'm not a focused person, I always fail, I'm inconsistent, your brain will sabotage your progress to protect that identity, even if it's painful. You can't outperform the story you tell yourself. Read that again. So here's the shift. Instead of saying, I want to be disciplined, say, I am someone who keeps promises to myself. Instead of, I want to read more, say, I am a learner. Identity before action, because behavior follows identity, not the other way around. So how do you change your identity? Here's the simplest method you will ever hear. Give your brain tiny proofs. Not massive action, not motivation, proof. Because every small action becomes evidence of who you are becoming. Read 2 pages? I am a reader. Do 5 minutes of focused work? I am disciplined. Put the phone away during a meal. I have self-control. Tiny actions, big identity shift. Stop waiting for motivation. Motivation is basically, maybe the universe will move my body for me. Yeah, it won't. Here's the real formula. Identity, action, evidence, identity reinforcement. Every time you keep a tiny promise to yourself, you increase self-respect. And when you respect yourself, discipline stops feeling like punishment. It becomes your default. You don't need to build a perfect life. You just need to become someone you respect. Because once your identity changes, your entire life follows. You know who you want to become. Now let's talk about the path that gets you there.
You don't fix your life with one massive effort. You fix it with boring decisions, made consistently, when no one is watching. Not the perfect morning routine, not the 5-hour productivity binge, not the motivation from a video you watched at 2 a.m. Real change happens on ordinary days. On the days when you don't feel inspired, but you still show up. On the days when your brain says, just skip today, and you whisper back, just 10 minutes. That's discipline, and it's quieter than motivation. Because motivation wants to feel good. Discipline wants to make progress. You don't need to sprint. You don't need to transform overnight. You just need to walk, one intentional step at a time. Small doesn't mean weak. Small means repeatable. And repeatable changes your life. Most people fail because they want results fast. They chase intensity. They want to see transformation in days. But the people who actually change, they choose consistency. They understand one workout won't give you a new body. One deep work session won't build your dream. One disciplined day won't change your life. But doing it again tomorrow will. Success isn't loud. Transformation isn't dramatic. It's subtle. It's slow. It's uncomfortable. And then one day you look back, and you don't recognize who you used to be. And you realize you didn't get there by doing everything perfectly. You got there because you stopped quitting.
And here's the funny part. You don't need the perfect plan. You don't need motivation every morning.
You just need to stop quitting on the small things. Because the tiny habit you almost skipped today, that's the one that could change everything tomorrow. And if right now you're thinking, okay, I'll start tomorrow. No, that's how the trap resets. Start for 2 minutes, just 2. Not because it's big, but because it's now. And when you forget again, because you will, come back to the beginning of this video. Sometimes you don't need a new plan. You just need the reminder. Ready?